Angela and I had big plans for 2020. A new stamp in our passports, maybe a bathroom renovation. We definitely didn't expect to be worried about our income.
When life takes you out of one comfort zone, your Regions banker has helpful tools and advice to help you find a new one.
It's a relief to have a plan for whatever comes next.
Make your financial plan at regions.com/bravethebeginning. Regions Bank. Member FDIC.
Live from the Subaru of Gwinnett Studio, inside the Sonesta Gwinnett Place Atlanta Hotel, it's time for Regions Business Radio. Regions Business Radio is presented by Regions Bank. Brave the beginning. Member FDIC. Now, here's your host, J.D. Mealor.
Hey, good morning. Nice to have everybody with us this morning, and with the Regions Business Radio podcast, Regions Bank member FDIC. See what I did there, Mike?
Very good.
Yes, we got a great show today. It is, I can't believe it's February already, February 12th, and there's been a lot going on in business over the last 6 weeks of 2021. So I'm excited about our guest today. Before I give you a little bit of a sort of a business update, let you know who's in studio with us today. Thomas Mathias is a buddy of mine from Regions Bank. He runs our global trade department, and he has some really great wisdom and experience as it relates to international business, and especially for some of our Gwinnett businesses that deal internationally with letters of credit, import, export, things like that. So you're going to get to meet Thomas in a minute. You're going to enjoy that conversation. Then another buddy, Bill Marriott with the Mitsubishi Electric Classic. We're going to talk a little bit about the tournament. We're going to talk a little bit about the charities that they support and opportunities for you, our Gwinnett business community, to get involved there as well. So two great guys, some great content today that we hope will help you get better in running your business, or even more involved in supporting our community through our guests and our friends. So just wanted to mention a couple things as it relates to business. If you're a business owner, a business executive, and you haven't been made aware yet, the SBA and the federal government have made available PPP2. So if you meet the criteria to receive a PPP2 loan, we would recommend that you talk to two people, your CPA and your banker. We're not necessarily saying, hey, everybody come to Regions. We're saying that you have a relationship at a bank and you need PPP2 money. Please call your banker. I every Friday I go to a local restaurant for breakfast up in Brazelton, Papa Jack's. Mike knows it. So does Bill. We love the bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit at Papa Jack's, but I was talking to him last week about PPP2, and he didn't know some of the parameters there to qualify. And there's broader parameters. There are more people that are eligible this round, a different set of companies that are eligible. And then I would say, in addition to calling your bank, please make sure that you're working with your CPA as it relates to PPP application, and then in future forgiveness, or currently, if you have a PPP1 loan and it's time to seek forgiveness, you must be working with your CPA on that as well. So just some points of preference, points of reference for PPP, as that's sort of the hot topic in any conversation in the business world right now. So remember, PPP2 Act is active. Consult your CPA, and PPP forgiveness is also, those windows are open. And again, don't make a move without your CPA. Part of my intro is always to talk about Regions values. Our values are very, very near and dear to us. You will oftentimes be able to identify, I hope, Regions values with anyone that you meet from our team. Yesterday on Business RadioX, we had Mia Hubbard. She did a great job. She runs our branches in Gwinnett, and she espoused some of our values on that interview. But just a reminder, our values are to put people first. we had a great podcast a month ago on the idea of putting people first. Do what is right. Focus on your customer. Reach higher and enjoy life. If you look at those values, maybe a bank, maybe a nonprofit, any for-profit company also could embrace those values because they're very meaningful. So at Regions also, finally from my opening intro is we had a very good year last year. This is all public knowledge. You can find it on our earnings report, and many of our analysts cover us, and we're very proud of our performance, especially in a year like 2020. We perform well for our shareholders, but I think what I'm most proud of is we perform well for our customers. The volume of PPP loans that we did, the ability to grow loans in a year like 2020 was almost unheard of. So we had a really nice year of performance broadly, meaning that we acquired great new customers that enjoyed their experience at the bank, whether it was in a branch or with our commercial team, but also for our shareholders and our stakeholders in our communities as we expanded some of our community support efforts. So it's a good year. 2020 was a good year at Regions, and we're looking forward to a great 2021. So with that intro, let me turn to my friend Thomas Mathias.
Good morning, JD.
How are you?
Good.
So glad you came up to spend some time with me.
Glad to be here.
Look, I'm very excited. Every time we talk, I learn something new. Your knowledge about your specialty in the commercial banking area is really unmatched, especially in a market like Gwinnett. Our competitors and our friends in banking do not have a resource locally, headquartered like yourself. Tell us about yourself. Tell us about your experience. Give us a little verbal resume.
Thank you for that, JD. Good to be here. Well, as you know, I've been with the bank for about 6 years now, but my career in global trade has been upwards of 25 years. And the thing I like about global trade is that it's really a win-win for our customers here in the Atlanta area and their customers outside the U.S. Okay, trade facilitates an opportunity for both sides of the equation to benefit and become profitable in what they're doing. So I love my job. What I do, I bring the rest of the world to Gwinnett.
Nice.
I bring Atlanta and Georgia to the rest of the world. So from that standpoint, I support all my bankers all around the geography that are helping their customers export and or import.
Okay.
The world is global. We are in a globalized world, and there are so much benefits from buying abroad and selling abroad. At the end of the day, we only have 5% of the world's consumers here in the U.S. 95% of our consumers are outside the U.S. So wow. I really like bridging that gap between, Atlanta, Georgia, the U.S., and the rest of the world.
So question. I mean, you mean a company in Gwinnett?
Yes.
They purchase something from a company in India?
Yes.
Don't they just send them some money and get their goods and that's it?
No. Much more complicated than that.
How so?
Well, you don't know the customer, and there's a lot of fraud, a lot of theft, a lot of, bad, actors out there. What we do, we help mitigate that repayment risk.
Okay.
We help also provide longer payment terms so that it's a win-win for the buyer and the seller. In banking, we talk about, the cash conversion cycle, which is a time in which you have to pay somebody. Well, in business, we know the longer you have to pay back your bills, the better. So what I do, I help the companies that are importing get long repayment terms, and the company that is selling get paid today. So it's a win-win on both sides of the equation.
Very good. How often do you have conversations, and this is a little bit off script already, I apologize.
No problem.
How often do you have conversations with businesses in the Atlanta area that do not realize that you can help them with their cash conversions?
Oh, man, daily.
Really?
Daily. People may not know this, but the Atlanta MSA is the 16th largest MSA in the country. We've grown over 7% since 2016. from 19th rank to 16th rank. Houston, Texas, of course, with all the oil and gas, they are number one.
Yeah.
But think about it. Atlanta, it's top 16th exporting, international MSA in the entire country.
Wow.
So we have exporters here and importers here.
Yeah. Now, you and I talk a lot about there's some public data that's available.
Yes.
And we have an idea of our neighbors in and around Gwinnett that either import or export.
Absolutely.
So we have an ability to get to know folks that are taking those business transactions very seriously.
Absolutely.
When you go in and you introduce yourself to them, what is one of the primary pain points that you most often hear from executives that are importers or exporters?
The fact that their existing bank sometimes may not have a Thomas. quite frankly,
there's only one Thomas.
There's only one Thomas. For whatever reasons, Americans travel abroad. We all have our passports. We all like taking vacations abroad, but we just don't do a lot of business abroad, surprisingly. We are the least engaged from a business standpoint, economically developed country in the world. As a percentage of GDP, Germany, different countries in Europe, trade as a percentage of their GDP is a lot much higher. Okay. We are happy selling to each other. I can make a big sale from Texas to New York, from New York to California, and I'd be happy. Who wants to spend a lot of time trying to find that buyer in India or China?
Yeah.
But when you do, you experience higher profitability, higher sales volume, and you need to diversify your revenues. Mm-hmm. So that means that you're never ever dependent on one geography or one market to have success. So right now, which we're having a hard time coming through the pandemic, guess what? China's already a step ahead of us. So are other markets.
Yeah.
So whereas your sales could be down in the U.S., you could diversify those same opportunities outside the U.S. and still continue growing.
Gotcha.
So for me, just a lot of times, CEOs and CFOs alike don't know the resources available here at our bank or in general. And every county in Georgia has an economic development, trade hub. So the resources are here, but we as an industry haven't done a very good job of marketing our capabilities and how we can help you reach your customers across the ocean.
Gotcha. Talk about some trends that you're seeing in global trade. Sort of what are the hot topics heading into 2021 in your world?
Coming out, I wish I could say that, but still being in the pandemic and coming off the China-U.S. trade war, a lot of companies right now are rethinking, just-in-time inventory system, in which, you would buy things a week before you needed them,
Yep.
So companies are right now thinking about building up more inventory in warehouses.
Yep.
And they're also thinking about diversifying their supply chain around the world. So instead of being 50% dependent on a Chinese importer, you may go to Taiwan or Europe or India to diversify that dependency on one supplier. Just to diversify that you're never solely dependent on one market, one supplier, one country. And in that regards, we're helping our customers engage with new suppliers, get the payment terms they desire, and mitigate the risk of, I don't know you, but I really want to buy from you, and I can't wait to get to know you. Well, a bank can come in and mitigate the concerns that they would have of sending money overseas to a new supplier, not having a track record. We can help bridge that gap.
Yeah, so that's pretty exciting, really, if you think
Absolutely.
about it. I'm going to paraphrase,
Absolutely.
put it in sort of JD vernacular.
Yeah.
So I'm running a manufacturing company, and I need something
Widgets.
from some widgets. Yeah, thank you, from Taiwan.
Yep.
And I find a vendor somehow.
Yep.
In Taiwan, but COVID restrictions don't allow me to travel to Taiwan.
Absolutely.
We can Zoom. I mean, everybody's Zooming these days. But I need to know that if I place this order with this entity in Taiwan, that I'm assured to get the product that I ordered. The quality thereof, I guess, is to be determined.
Absolutely.
But the financial transaction.
There you go.
The financial transaction is what you help with.
Absolutely.
And so how do Look, I'm making the widgets.
Yeah.
I'm here in Gwinnett. I'm in Lawrenceville. I'm making these widgets.
Yeah.
How do you know about this company in Taiwan, or what do you do to help me know about that company in Taiwan?
Well, as you know, banks are the most regulated industry in the world. So we have bank relationships, even as Regions Bank, a super regional bank, we have bank relationships all around the world.
Yeah.
So we have bank partners in that particular country
Okay.
that particular supplier is a customer of. So we facilitate a bank-to-bank relationship. And what we
Gotcha.
do, we structure the transaction where in which each bank is relied upon for the due diligence on their customer. So the banks are making a commitment on behalf of their customer that my customer will ship whatever they're selling,
Yep.
or they're going to pay for whatever they're buying, and vice versa. So we rely on the global network of banks to provide us credit-worthy and reliable customers from a repayment standpoint. Now, the product may still come inefficient, but your payment will be protected.
Yeah.
See, 'cause you
I mean,
won't
we're not
lose
going to
money.
get into the quality of the
Right,
product.
right.
We're verifying, working within our network to make sure that
Absolutely.
you get paid on the terms that you've agreed
Repayment
to.
risk. We mitigate as much as 99% to 100% of repayment risk. So you're going to get paid.
The opportunity that we have as a super regional bank to bring your expertise with this type of knowledge, I think
Absolutely.
separates us from some of our competitors in this space.
Absolutely. And in the last couple of years running, we have been the lender of choice as far as activity with the SBA as well as the U.S. Export-Import Bank. So these are two agencies that are actively involved to support U.S. businesses exporting around the world. And we have been the top bank in both agencies for the last 2 years running because of our activity, and probably because of our partnership with SBA and the Exim Bank folks right here in Georgia, right here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And we have two great, fantastic colleagues I work with, Edie and Doug. They support our SBA efforts, and I do the Exim Bank solely, but their partnership works.
Yes,
That
it does.
really, really works. And our expertise is, over 25, 30 years each. And we bring such a wealth of knowledge to our customers that if you're a novice exporter, we get you going. If you're an experienced exporter, we get you going even further.
Gotcha. That's compelling. I mean, I know what you do.
Yep.
We've been on sales calls together.
Yeah.
But as I think about the opportunity that you just had to introduce what we do to someone that doesn't know us,
Right.
I think that was that was not just well done, but it was exactly what I'd hoped that someone would hear from us today. That was great. We actually conversationally touched on a lot of our topics. However, without saying a name,
Yep.
we share a customer in Sewanee
Yes.
that is actively using some of our services,
Absolutely.
or will soon be using some of our services to manage their cash cycle.
Right.
In that scenario, I'm going to ask you
Yep.
the sort of profile of the customer and then what we presented to them without saying names.
The profile of the customer is when you engage that supplier overseas, they have cash needs themselves. So they want to sell to you and get paid today.
Correct.
At the same time, it's going to take about 30 to 60 days on the water to import products from overseas, particularly China or anywhere in Asia. So you don't want to put that money out there because you're out of money for 60 days. And that's not good for you.
right.
So you want to delay that payment. At the same time, your supplier overseas, he wants to get paid today. So we are taking a solution called supply chain financing to our smaller businesses and commercial companies all around Georgia. Supply chain finance is something that you think of with Walmart and Costco, the big boys, where in which they're able to have a mom and pop supplier sell them product and say, go to my bank will pay you today, and they're happy, and they can get upwards of 180-day terms to pay back. That works in the U.S. very well. Where you have a big company like Costco or Home Depot or Walmart selling to mom and pop anywhere. The pricing is so advantageous to do such. Well, we found that overseas, even a small company here in Gwinnett, their cost of funding is much cheaper than it is in developed countries for dollars overseas. So we were able to bring a solution that's primarily for investment grade companies to our smaller commercial companies, like our company in Swanee, that is a big importer, and they're taking advantage of the lower cost of funding that the supplier is benefiting from. The supplier is also getting paid today, and they're only paying back their customers 180 days from now after they've received the product, put it in their inventory, put it in their manufacturing process, and sell it. So technically, they're not paying us back to pay back the supplier until they've actually sold what they've manufactured.
Right.
That's a win-win proposition for the importer and also for the exporter.
Wow. That's great, man. We need to share this story with hundreds of more businesses. And that content is, I mean, what we're saying is we want to help you get paid more quickly.
Absolutely.
On both sides.
We want to expand your business all around the world, because what you produce, what you manufacture, what you're selling, out of the offices here in Georgia, the rest of the world wants and needs.
Yes.
And can benefit from. One of my best customers is a guy down in Hazelhurst, Georgia.
Okay.
And he sells pecans.
Come on.
And he's the fastest growing pecan company around the area. And he told me, you know what, Thomas? The Chinese just consume all our pecans. They love them. And they use it in all the delicacies.
Really?
And it's very health conscious. So they have already figured out a way how to use a product that we manufacture here. And if you go down to Hazelhurst, you know that pecans grow on everybody's trees. And everybody picks up a bushel and bring it to this company, and they consolidate it. So everybody's making money off of that business. So he's a big consolidator.
Okay.
But the Chinese are so health conscious, they use this pecan in a number of delicacies that they eat often. We over here,
falling out of the tree.
Yeah, we don't really, pecan, give me my peanut butter and that's it, But actual pecans are something the rest of the world is dying for. They really want it. Same with our lumber. Our yellow pine and other types of products, they need our lumber. Chinese, they're growing such a tremendous real estate business. They need our lumber. So at the end of the day, when you have oversupply and demand in your market is not as strong, but there's stronger demand for your product overseas, and they're willing to pay a premium, oh man, that's a win-win.
Yeah.
And we're here to help you identify those customers, negotiate a sale, and get it going and make money. And don't forget, when you have an export business, you achieve diversification of your revenues. You have higher sales volume because, like I said, you're reaching that 95% of the world's consumers. But because you're able to stamp that American product name on it, you can charge a premium for those products, and you can pay higher salaries. So more companies that are exporting, guess what they can do? They have higher salary levels for their employees.
Wow.
Because they're achieving higher profitability by selling abroad.
Wow.
So it's a win-win across the board.
Yeah. Man, that's amazing.
It really is. It really is.
I said when we got started, I learned something new from Thomas every time. He just blew me away. Thomas, thank you. What any other comments that you think about somebody? And look, for everybody that wants that you can't see, we're on podcast, right?
Yeah.
Thomas has his notebook. He's got his notes. He's shared them with me via email.
Yeah.
And you know what, Thomas? What I love about it, here's I was talking to my son about this the other day. I said, buddy, you know that someone is either telling the truth or they're knowledgeable about their topic when they can speak from the heart. And that's exactly, y'all can't see it on the podcast. Thomas just shared his expertise and knowledge from his heart because this is what he does, and this is what he does so well. Yeah. Now, I'm not demeaning the fact that you were prepared.
Right.
But our conversation hopefully was so good and helpful.
Absolutely.
That what's in you just comes out.
It does. JD, for me, I've been traveling the world since I was a young man. And, I see a lot of Americans when I travel abroad. And Americans have their passport and they travel. But what we have lacked doing is engaging the rest of the world as far as business. Mm-hmm. And what I'm here to advocate is that, I'm a big believer in globalization. Because, when you find that extra customer across the ocean, you can employ more Americans. And that's what these agencies are here for, whether it's SBA or Exim Bank, is to support American jobs
Amen.
by exporting.
Yeah.
So, I know in the last 10 years, globalization got a bad name, but it's really good for us Americans because guess what? We do a lot of things well.
Yeah.
We do a lot of things that the rest of the world really, really needs and wants. Okay?
Yeah.
So from that standpoint, let's just share.
Yeah.
Let's sell it to them. And let's employ Americans in doing such. That's the win-win. And it goes back to what we talked about earlier, my region's values,
Yeah.
What do I
lay
like
it on
most,
us. Hit it.
Doing what is right.
Yeah.
Me helping you sell across the ocean employs Americans.
Yeah.
Lowers our unemployment rate and allows you to pay that employee more salary because you have higher profitability by selling to India. Because India is dying for what you are manufacturing. They need it. So we are by far the most developed country in the world. If anybody has traveled outside the U.S., you know that a lot of countries are so poorly developed, dilapidated, roads, infrastructure. We're trying to rebuild our roads and infrastructure. They've never had one.
Oh, yeah.
So whether we're selling a GE turbine or, selling pecans or lumber or whatever, the rest of the world is dying for American engagement. And we as a bank, we welcome your partnership to make that happen.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid. It might be some tough days at the beginning, but we will get you there. And once you accomplish sales overseas, like me, you're going to love it.
Amen.
Because it's really, really a win-win for both sides of the equation.
Yeah, it is. Now you say do what is right, but
Absolutely.
also what I heard.
Yep.
Also what I heard is focus on your customer.
Oh, most definitely.
Because
Most
everything
definitely.
that you just talked about was helping the customer achieve broader markets,
Absolutely.
diversity,
Yep.
higher revenue,
Yep.
greater net profit, all these things. And by the way, have you ever met a business owner that is only worried about his mortgage or her mortgage?
No.
They're worried about
Their employees.
their employees' mortgages.
Yeah.
And so, having worked with you now for 4 years, I know you do what is right.
Yep.
And I also know that you focus on your customer. And it's never about, hey, what can I sign you up for?
Absolutely.
It's about, what are you trying to achieve? I'm Thomas Mathias from Regions Bank. I'm going to help you get there.
There you go.
Man, that is awesome. Thank you for being.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed that.
I
You
did.
Great,
I
man.
did. Thank you.
We're going to use this and meet some new people as a result.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure.
That was great. That was great. Hey, by the way, our washer and dryer went out, so we needed a new one.
Yeah.
And golly,
The backlog.
it's unbelievable. I bet I called 10 different places because there was this specific thing.
Yep.
My lovely wife decided that she would do an informal Facebook poll about what's the best washer and dryer.
Yeah.
And of course, when everybody says and you can't find stuff,
You can't find stuff.
right now.
And it's funny because I think I told you this about maybe 3-4 months ago, but I took up bike riding again during the pandemic.
Uh-huh.
I couldn't find a bike. I couldn't find bike parts.
Really?
So what we're looking at is how we manage our warehousing and our inventory.
Mm-hmm.
And we as a bank can help companies do that because we were somewhat over-reliant, not just on the rest of the world, but on one part of the world.
Yep.
So right now we're diversifying that to never be that dependent again.
Gotcha. Awesome.
Awesome.
I'm glad you're here.
Thank
That
you. Good to be
was
here.
really well. So that was great. Thomas Mathias, Regions Bank, one of my best friends at work. I appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
Always
Appreciate you.
get something new from you. And let's turn to one of our local community partners, Bill Marriott. How you gonna follow that, man?
I just really want some pecans right now.
We have them in Georgia.
We sure do. I can remember years ago going to my grandmother's house, and she just had this bowl of, unopened pecans. I never knew what to do with those things, but it's like you're supposed to have them because we were in Atlanta. So welcome, Bill.
Thank you. That is going to be a hard act to follow.
It is. You're not from around here.
I am not. Been in Georgia for about 3 years. Before that, my whole life in Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland area.
Well, I sure have enjoyed getting to know you and have a new friendship and what you're doing for Gwinnett and our business community. Introduce our listeners to the Mitsubishi Electric Classic.
The Mitsubishi Electric Classic, PGA Tour Champions event, played at TPC Sugarloaf every spring. Traditionally in April, starting in 2021, we'll be playing in May. May 10th through the 16th is our
tournament week this week, which we're very excited about. We think May is going to be great for us. We are a 501c3, and our number one goal is to impact the local community. Our main beneficiaries are Children's Healthcare of Atlanta and the Special Needs Schools of Gwinnett, which is a smaller school in Lawrenceville doing awesome things. We've had a partnership with them for a few years, so we benefit a number of smaller charities or smaller donations to some other charities, but those are our two big ones.
Very good. Now wait a minute. I thought that a golf tournament was about, birdies and hopefully not many bogeys, but, in lifting a trophy at the end. You mean that a golf tournament is about more than golf?
It is. I mean, that's all awesome. Very cool. That's what's nice about what we do, because we get to put on a very cool professional sporting event that, we have Tom Watson and John Daly and Vijay Singh and all those guys come to town every year, and people get to come out and experience that and entertain clients and have a great time. But at the end of the day, we're a 501c3, and all that money goes back into the local Gwinnett community.
Wow. So you mentioned Children's Healthcare. You mentioned Special Needs Schools of Gwinnett. What type of impact have you had, I guess, financially or maybe even volunteer-wise with those organizations and others?
Well, financially, we are just shy of $2.6 million going back to the Gwinnett community in over 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah, we're very proud of that.
$2.6 million.
$2.6 million. And last year, I was like, where's that coming from?
Yeah, it's our live studio audience.
Last year, even though we weren't able to host an event because the tour took a pause at the beginning of the COVID crisis, we were still able to donate about $275,000 back to the community. So we're building fast. Our ultimate goal is to get to a point where we can donate maybe $500,000 a year. So we're very proud of that.
That is great. How do folks get involved if some local businesses would like to participate? What are some opportunities locally?
There are a lot of different ways to get involved. Just come out and experience the event, and there's a lot of ways to do that, whether it's just coming out generally and watching the tournament, coming out and hosting some clients at one of our hospitality venues. We have a very cool experience to play with some professionals. I know, JD, I asked you earlier if you'd ever played with or played in a Pro-Am, but you have a Junior Am story.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, Junior Am with the AJGA, got to play a couple times with Spencer Ralston, who's now, I guess, a junior at UGA, and he qualified actually last year to play in the event at Sea Pines, the Heritage.
Oh, cool.
So of course he didn't get to put on the plaid jacket as an amateur, but I can't imagine what it's like to play with the pros. Because this was a young man. I mean, he was in high school when I played with him. Knew he was going to Georgia. Also played with a young man that's at Alabama. And, golly, their balls went so far and so accurate. I can't imagine.
It's a different level.
Yeah.
It's very cool. And the guys on our tour, the PGA Tour champions, they're a little older. They're a little bit more relaxed. They've had their success. They're just fortunate to be able to keep playing at a professional level. And so they just do a great job. They're very engaging. They're a lot of fun. I know a lot of people get intimidated when they get up there on the first tee with, Vijay Singh, and they're just great. People have a lot of fun. People come back year after year to do it over and over again.
Yeah, I understand that some of our local businesses fly clients in from around the country to participate in the Pro-Am at Mitsubishi Electric.
Sure,
classes.
Mitsubishi Electric specifically.
Yeah.
They bring in some of their dealers from all over the world to come in.
We got 27 holes at Sugarloaf. Which ones are used in the tournament, and which ones are used for the Pro-Am?
So this year it's going to be Stables Meadows, which has been the traditional tournament track for a long time. It went the third nine is Pines, which we played Pines Meadows in 2019. TPC Sugarloaf has gone through a very big $20 million renovation over the last few years. Each of the nines has a new look, and in 2019 Stables was under that renovation, so we weren't able to use it, but we're back for that track in 2021. It's going to be great.
Now we did that at an event for Special Needs School of Gwinnett, the Stables, right? That was the latter half of our round. That was a really nice 9 holes that I'd never seen before.
Yeah, I believe we did play Stables. I have to remember what we played on that track, on that tournament. But Stables is brand new. It's probably the most challenging 9 of the 3. I know a lot of the TPC Sugarloaf members have been having a hard time getting around lately.
Yeah, not very member-friendly, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, who designed that course over there? We don't know. We need to look that up, huh? It's not Don Ross. It's not McKenzie or any of those guys.
I'm sure.
One of those. Tell me about the Birdies for Charity program. That's something that we talked about earlier. I'd like for the listeners to know
Yeah,
more
the
about
Birdies for
that.
Charity program is a unique way for local businesses or individuals to donate to local charities through the tournament with a match of 10%. So should regions want to make a donation to a charity that's important to them, you run it through us. You donate through the Mitsubishi Electric Classic, and say it's a $1,000 donation. We will then in turn donate $1,100 to that original charity of your choice. So it's just a great program for us to give a little bit more back, for you guys to get a little bit more out of your donation for the charity to benefit a little bit further.
All right, personal question to some extent that I don't believe I've ever asked you before, but Mike Salmon coming through in the clutch. Greg Norman.
That's right.
Greg Norman.
I should have known that.
Shame on both of us.
I know.
Shame on you too, Thomas, just to bring you back in the loop here.
No.
I mean, everybody should have known it was Greg Norman, the Shark.
That's right, the Shark.
I mean, the Shark who, prior to Jordan's meltdown at Augusta, had the previously worst meltdown in Augusta prior to Rory's meltdown at Augusta. But that's a whole nother podcast topic.
Meltdowns are very popular. We had a big Vijay Singh meltdown in 2019, very famously, if anybody was paying attention. He hit 3 in the water in a row right from about 100 yards out on 18. You know, that 18th hole, our finishing hole?
Yeah.
He was about 100 yards out, had to get a little bit over the water. 1, 2, 3, right in. He's giving his caddy a hard time. Thought he was giving him the wrong yardage. Went from, I think he was, don't quote me on this, but I want to say he was either tied for the lead or in second place before. And then I think he hit a 10 on that hole. So
Really?
that was it for him.
Yeah, that'll melt you down.
Yeah, that
no,
was it.
no kidding. Especially right there at the clubhouse, everybody watching.
Yeah.
At least when Jordan melted down on 12, it was way out. And look, there's a lot of people at Amen Court. But anyway, when you think about the tournament, when Bill Marriott gets up and you're thinking, I'm gonna go attack my day, are you thinking about golf or are you thinking about community?
Well, it's a little bit of both. A lot of our partners are golf fanatics. They like to come out and experience the event. They like to play golf. But I guess people partner with us for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
People partner with us for the charitable impact that we do. People partner with us to have the experience of the golf tournament. So when we're talking to a client and trying to figure out what's the most important thing for them, we try to tailor our sponsorships and our programs around. Is it more community focused? Is it more entertainment focused? Or is it both?
Yeah, gotcha. So what you're telling me is you don't come out with a list of here's our packages, take it or leave it. You say, what would you like to get from sponsoring, supporting this event? And
Yeah,
we'll help you
100%.
out.
We want to be a good partner. We want to deliver something that's important to our clients, and we're very flexible in that way.
Yeah, good. When you think about children's health care, you think about Special Needs School of Gwinnett, too. I mean, if you've never been to children's health care, to see the children there, it's life changing.
Yeah, I was kind of blown away by Children's when I moved down here. We don't have anything of that caliber in the Baltimore market where one hospital has really taken over children's health care for an entire metropolitan area. And I had a small incident with my daughter when we first moved down here, and everybody just said, just get down to Children's. Get down to Children's. And we did, and she was fine. She had a great experience, but it's amazing what they do. And Special Needs Schools of Gwinnett is a smaller charity, but they've really grown a lot in the last few years. And they just built a new school. They're doing awesome work up there right in Lawrenceville. If you haven't had a chance to check that campus out, it's very cool.
Yeah, awesome. What else could you tell us about the tournament or your community focus that you'd like for folks to know?
Well, the only thing else I'll just touch on is that we are 100% having a tournament this year. The PGA Tour Champions has been back up and running successfully since July, successfully and safely.
Okay.
We're going to have some protocols and regulations in place to ensure that there's safety for everybody. So we just want to kind of make sure that that's not an obstacle for people to come out and enjoy their time. And we will have a safety plan ready to be shared in the next couple of weeks, and we're just excited to be playing again.
Yeah. So I said it was going to be last, but I got to know who, mainstream names that are already confirmed? Who do we know is coming?
Nobody's confirmed yet. We won't know that till we get a little bit closer.
Okay.
But we
All right.
traditionally have the PGA Tour Champions has a lot fewer events than the PGA Tour, so we traditionally get the full field. Tom Watson, John Daly, Vijay Singh, those guys. There were some big names that just came on our tour last year. Ernie Els, Phil Mickelson. Those are the big wild cards. Phil's back and forth, dominating on both tours, but
bombing it.
Yeah.
He's hitting bombs.
Yeah, he's a monster.
But he loves Sugarloaf.
Yeah, loves Sugarloaf. Used to always play the Bell South Classic, so we're crossing our fingers.
Yeah, those are the good old days.
Yeah,
the Bell South Classic. I appreciate you being here today.
Thank you.
Certainly hope that folks check us out. Entertainment opportunities, community support opportunities, and I love too. That you referred to it. Hey, go to Children's. Thomas, don't you agree? If you're from around here and somebody tells you to go to Children's,
You got to go.
And you know what it is. I mean, you don't have to go Children's Healthcare of Atlanta at Scottish Rite because we have a couple of urgent care children's up here in Gwinnett, and you go to Hamilton Mill, you come down here to Duluth or whatever it is. So we're very proud to be associated with your event. Appreciate your friendship and what you do for the community.
Likewise, we appreciate it.
Yeah, we're happy. This was a really nice day to spend with you, gentlemen. Thank you for spending your Friday morning with me.
Sure.
With that said, we look forward to visiting again. Expect to hear, by the way, from Thomas and some of our commercial bankers if you're out there and you're a manufacturer, importer, exporter, as it may be. And then finally would be we hope to see you at Sugarloaf in May, which just happens to be around my birthday week, so you'll see me out at Sugarloaf.
When's your birthday?
The 13th. So,
oh man,
yeah,
you have to play in the Pro-Am.
I guess so. So we'll go out and find some folks that we can play with. So,
what was the date of the tournament again?
Well, tournament week is May 10th through the 16th. Tournament play will be the 14th, 15th.
So your birthday is during the tournament.
Well, it's during the Pro-Am.
It's
during the Pro-Am.
Yours is, JD?
Yeah.
Mine's right after the tournament. Man,
missed
it by a day or two.
You can't come.
We'll figure it out together, brother. So thank you guys. I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your weekend, and thank you for what you do for our businesses, for our communities. And with that said, we're going to sign off from Regions Business Radio, brought to you by Regions Bank, member FDIC.